talk about Ansible, how to set up on a server, and how to remotely control nodes with it. Okay, so what is Ansible? Ansible is an agentless management tool, meaning that you only have to install Ansible on one machine, and that's going to be your Ansible server. And then this Ansible server can communicate and orchestrate various IT operations on other machines that Ansible server has SSH access to. And those are going to be your nodes. So in my example, so I'm going to have the Zorin machine. That's going to be my Ansible server. And then Zorin 2 machine and Zorin 3 machine are going to be my nodes. They're going to be remotely orchestrated by Zorin. Okay, so let's start. On your server, you're going to open a terminal and you're going to run sudo apt install Ansible. This command is going to install Ansible on your server machine, and you only need to install Ansible once, as I said. Okay, so Ansible is going to do remote operations on your nodes using SSH. So on the machines, we have to install OpenSSH client, OpenSSH server, open port 22 on the uncomplicated firewall, and to generate a key and transfer it to the node. So let's start. You're gonna have to open the two machines, and you start by installing SSH on them with sudo apt install open ssh-client open ssh-server and -y so it doesn't prompt you. I'm going to do the same on Zorin 3. Sudo apt install open ssh-client open ssh-server and -y. Okay, one thing that I didn't mention is that like on the nodes, you should have a designated Zorin user. You should not use the root user. Okay, so I have created also user Zorin 2 on the Zorin 2 virtual machine and user Zorin 3 on Zorin 3 virtual machine. All the same name, so it's easier. Okay, so we install OpenSSH client and server. Now we have to open the rule on the firewall. So we go sudo ufw allow 22 on your nodes. Okay, so on the other nodes, sudo ufw allow 22. Perfect. So now the nodes are going to allow connections on port 22. Now we have to go to the server again, and we're going to generate an SSH key, and you're going to transfer it to the node. So on the server where Ansible was previously installed, you're going to run on the server on the terminal ssh-keygen -t rsa -d and then 4096 ssh-keygen -t rsa -b 4096. Okay, generating. If you're and you just press enter until the end, so it's generated. Interesting. What did I do before? Oh, I did like -b instead of -d. Okay, so this indicates that the key was generated. Now we have to transfer it to our nodes. So in order to do that, we got to know the IP address of our nodes. So go to the nodes, okay, and you run IPA, and then Zorin 2's address is this one, 192.168.216.129. Zorin 3 address is 192.168.216.131. Okay, so I have to transfer the key to Zorin 2 and Zorin 3. So let's start with Zorin 2. The command I have to run is ssh-copy-id, and then the user, the designated Ansible user, Zorin 2, right, at, and its IP address was 192.168.216, and I believe 129. Okay, 129. Sure. Okay, it seems that it worked. Now let me go to the Zorin 3 machine, and you're gonna again transfer the key there. Okay, so it worked. Now I should be able to SSH into the remote servers without being prompted for a password. So let me try to SSH to Zorin2 at 192.168.216.129, and we're in. That's it. So let me try to fool around. So let me cd into the desktop and test.txt. No problem. So now if I go to Zorin2, the test file was created. Interesting, right? Okay, so now essentially I'm remotely controlling my other machine from this terminal. I can run commands on the other machine. As you see, like I can create a file. I can also delete a file. I can do pretty much anything. It works. So now the next thing that we have to do is add the designated Ansible users on the vsudo file so that they are sudoers. And then you're going to specify that they don't need to enter their credentials in order to run sudo commands. And what do I mean by that? So if I open a new terminal and I run sudo apt install vim, it asks for my password. I don't want this to happen, okay? I want to simply run the commands. So in order to do that, you're going to run sudo vsudo. It's going to ask for my password, and that's the last time it's going to do it. Enter your password, and you go to the very bottom of the file, and you'll enter your username, okay? And followed by all equal, all inside parentheses, okay? And then space, no pass wg, colon, all. Perfect. So save it and close. Do the same on the other machine. I still had the last time I used sudo, so it was still open. So very bottom of the file, Zorin3, and then you write simply the same, all equals, all inside parentheses, and then outside, no pass wg, colon, all. Perfect, so save it and close. So now let me open another terminal. And if I run sudo apt install UFW, it didn't ask for my password. Great. Since UFW is already installed, so you didn't have to, but like, okay, so interesting. So it works, right? So now if you understand what's going on, I'm able to remotely connect to the nodes without being asked for my password through SSH. And then I can run sudo commands without being prompted for my password again. So although this makes automation very practical and easy, it introduces serious security risks. And in order to mitigate it, you could do several practices such as limiting SSH access, limiting the commands that the designated Ansible user can run. Please do everything you can in order to protect the SSH keys in order to restrict their use, monitor their use, and so on and so forth. Those practices are outside of the scope of this video. So in here, I'm just going to talk about the automation aspect of it. But just keep in mind that you're introducing security risks to your systems. Okay, so far we did a lot of setting up an environment and stuff. So let's do some Ansible. Notice that I'm still like remotely connected to Zorin2. So let me exit this connection. Perfect. Clear my terminal. Let me cd into the etc/Ansible folder, the directory. And in here, I have my hosts file. I'm going to edit it using nano. So Ansible is going to check the hosts file in order to know where does it need to run the commands that you specify on your playbook. Okay, so for example, let me enter here like a block of clients. And I'm going to add the IP address of the nodes that belong to this block and the designated Ansible user. So if you remember, we have like 192.168.216.129, and the Ansible underscore user is Zorin2, right? And 192.168.216.131, and the Ansible underscore user is Zorin3. Okay, so why do I need this? Because like I can have the same host file, and here I can have like production servers, and then I can have like 20 servers, and then I can have database servers, right? And then I can have like many, and I can run different plays on different blocks of servers. So save it and exit. I have ran, I have written a few playbooks before. They're on my playbooks folder. You can leave them wherever you want. I like to organize it this way. So let me show you guys the install Nginx one. That's pretty interesting. So I'm gonna open it on Nano. Install Nginx. Okay, so what's going on? This is a YAML file. Okay. You can go further, like how to write Ansible commands in Ansible. One thing that's very interesting and important in here is the indentation. It has to be perfect. There's no room for mistakes in here. So that's the name of my playbook. Okay. The hosts where those actions are going to be run at are on my clients. Do you remember the clients that we wrote on the hosts, which are Zorin 2 and Zorin 3? Become yes is gonna this line means if there are any commands that in order to run them, the user needs to become sudo, then they are going to become sudo, and it's not going to prompt us for a password because like we added it on the vsudo file. And the tasks is what's going to happen. What IT operations are you going to do? So first, you're going to update the apt cache, and then you're going to install Nginx. And after we update and install, we're going to ensure Nginx is started and enabled. Pretty much what this does, like behind the scenes, is just gonna do sudo systemctl, enable Nginx, start Nginx, and status Nginx. And if it's enabled and running and everything is proper, then this is gonna return that everything's okay. So let me just exit it. How can I run this playbook? That's simple. Ansible -playbook and the name of the playbook, which is going to be install nginx.yaml. And now hit enter. No hosts matched. Let's see. Clients. And on the hosts, sudo nano hosts. Oh, I didn't save it. Interesting. So clients 192, 168, 216, 129, and Ansible user. That's going to be Zorin 2. 192, 168, 216, 131, and Ansible user is going to be Zorin 3. Okay. Cat hosts. If I can spell it. Okay, so I have something. Again, let me cd into the playbooks and run that playbook. Ansible -playbook and the name install Nginx. Install Nginx. I think it worked this time. Yeah. Don't worry about this warning. Okay.